Hello all. So in the last class we have started our 13th chapter, that is Democratic and Nationalist Revolutions 17th, 18th and 19th centuries. So in the last class only I told you about democracy. So you have already studied about democracy in your 6th, 7th and 8th classes. But I will repeat what is democracy for you to understand easily the whole chapter. Okay, so democracy is a form of government which is elected by the people. That means people will select the leaders. So instead of us, see, we are like many people. We can't all go and sit in the parliament or in the government office and work for ourselves. So what we will do, we will select some leaders who will act on behalf of us. That means on behalf of us means they will represent us. Representing means they will speak instead of us in the office. So to solve our problems and to see the welfare and our happiness of the people in the government, what the leaders will do, they will go and sit in the office instead of us, that is on behalf of us. So we elect them, and the government which is formed by the elected leaders, that whom we elect, is called democracy. I already told you the definition of democracy which Abraham Lincoln gave in the last class. I repeated, democracy is a form of government which is for the people, of the people and by the people. So democracy basically works for the happiness and good of the people. So democracy also involves certain ideas, like some ideas in the sense some concepts or subjects like rights, equality, freedom. You know fundamental rights, you have studied about them. I hope you have studied. If not also, you will have in your next classes, you will learn about them. So democracy involves ideas like liberty. Liberty means freedom. See here, freedom means freedom of speech, freedom of following our own religion. See, like, no, government will not tell us to follow this religion and do this and do that. No, we will have freedom. We are free to follow any religion. We are free to do some activities for ourselves. So all the activities that we do is not controlled by the government. Yes, no? So like that only, freedom is given to people in a democratic form of government in order for the people to enjoy their rights. So apart from freedom, along with this we have rights like right to vote, right to use public property. We have bus stops and auto stands, we have roads. That is all public property. That is not a property of yours and mine, no? That all the people can use such property. So that usage of that property and right to vote, right to freedom of religion, all these rights come under rights. Rights means the capacity of people to enjoy that. Okay. Now apart from rights we have equality. Equality means all citizens, all people are treated equally. See, one is not less equal or less important than others. See, for suppose in your class, if one student is studying very well and one student is studying is not studying well, teacher has no right to discriminate or see those two students unequally. For teacher, all students are equal. Like that only for government, all people are equal. Nobody is more important, nobody is less important. So that is equality. So apart from all these, the most important concept of democracy is elected representatives, elections. Elected representatives means election means people will select who should be their leader. So that is elections. Representatives means, already I told you in the last class about your class leader representing your class. So representatives are the leaders who act on behalf of us, behalf of all people. Okay, so this is the most important feature or subject of democracy. So in a democracy, apart from all this is the main idea behind democracy. So for example, if you talk about democracy, the first thing that should come into your mind is elected representatives. That means the people who rule you are elected by you only. The people who rule the people, the leaders who rule the people are elected or selected by people only. So that is the whole concept of democracy. Okay. So in this area only, like democratic revolution. So in this chapter, we will learn how democracy has been evolving. Evolution is a process. Evolution means a process of change. That means from old ages how it has been changing till now. So that is process of evolution. So how democracy as a form of government has been changing from 17th centuries to now. So we will basically talk about 17th, 18th and 19th centuries. So as we have now learnt about democracy, I hope this concept is clear with all of you. So if you have any doubts, I will clear them later on. Like while teaching the lesson, your doubts will get cleared. So after democracy, now we have to move into our lesson. So first we have to know what is revolution. Revolution is a type of movement or it is a type of process which leads to change. That means which will facilitate. Facilitate means which will help in bringing change in the society and country. So revolution, which is helping the government to transform or change into democratic type of government. So that is called democratic revolution. So we will be studying in this chapter about democratic revolutions. That means the process which helps in changing the government into a democratic government. I already told you in previous years, before 17th century, there were kingdoms. Kings used to rule the country. Not like today. Today who will rule the country? Prime Minister, President, they all know. So in previous centuries, there were kings who ruled the countries and kingdoms. So how those kingdoms got changed into democratic forms of government, that is, which has the elected representatives or elected leaders who rule us. So in this lesson we will be talking about some examples of how some countries changed their government from king's rule into democratic governments. So our first topic is England. So we will start with England. So before starting with England, we should know about Europe. So England is a country which is in Europe. Europe is a continent. You know about continents and countries, no? So in Europe, we have England. So our first topic is England. So England is a country which is in Europe. Okay, so I will show you the world map where Europe is and where England is. So this is the world map. So where is Europe in this world map? Europe is here. Where is Asia? Asia is here. See, this is India. So Europe is towards the west of India, towards the west of Asia also. Okay, Europe is here. Now we will see what are the countries in Europe. So in Europe we have all these countries. For example, Finland, Norway, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Poland, Ukraine, etc. So these are all the countries which are in Europe, in European continent. So now we will see the England, map of England. So you all know the Britishers ruled India. So British is not a single country. It is a union, means that is a joint government or joint country of Northern Ireland, Scotland, England and Wales. These four countries together formed United Kingdom. United Kingdom is also called as Great Britain. United Kingdom or Great Britain is a country which is formed by a joint group of four countries: Wales, Scotland, England and Northern Ireland. So these four countries together formed United Kingdom or Great Britain. So Britishers ruled, as you all know, India was ruled by British. So British is not only one country, it is a group of four countries. Okay. So now we will see only England, that is only this country. So how democratic revolution happened in England and how democratic government formed in England. We will see that. So now we will start with our first topic, that is England, Civil War and Glorious Revolution. So first we will talk about the type of government which was in England in the 17th century and before that. So in 17th century, the Tudor dynasty used to rule England. So when Tudor dynasty kings were ruling England, so there were, see, in Christian countries, there were churches and popes. Pope means the leader of the church. The leader of the church. So in that the churches in European countries are called Roman Catholic churches. So the leader or the head of the Roman Catholic churches were called popes. So what happened in the European countries or the Christian countries during those 17th or 16th centuries is the churches, the popes used to control or have the power of ruling the country also. So when the popes, when the government or the king used to take any decisions for the people, the pope also had some powers, means he also had some right to take decisions for the welfare of the people. So the pope was also powerful in in the European countries. So when Tudor dynasty's kings were ruling the England, and they did not like the pope's involvement. They did not like pope taking decisions for the people. They thought that king is the leader of the country, that the rule of the king is given by is a blessing of God. They all thought like that. So while kings thought that being a king is a gift of God and they were given powers by God, why Pope should involve in their decision making? That is what they thought. So what they did not accept the power or the authority of Pope in involving in taking decisions for the people. So Pope is religious and king is political. No, religious means Pope is related to religion, the kind of worship we do. Worship means the kind of prayer we do, that is religious. So Pope is religious and king is political. King is related to people and rule, while Pope is related to church or other places of worship. So when Pope is involving in king's rule, the Tudor dynasty kings did not like it. So what they did, they rejected or cancelled all powers of the Pope, to which will give him the right to take decisions for the people or ask the king to change his decisions. So in that process, the Pope's authority or Pope's power was cancelled by Tudor dynasty kings. So that is all for this session. We will continue in the next session. Thank you.